because it is important to work on yourself first. However, you do not need to be fully healed. That is impossible.
And that's the need to be perfect and present perfect. And that's not real or authentic.
No.
Welcome to the Multiple Truths podcast. We're your hosts, Holly
and Brittany. This is a space where we can come together healing in community, where we share our self-love journeys, insights, and wisdom.
A space with no hierarchy or judgment, fostering love, compassion, and respect, and where we honor our differences. With open minds and hearts, everyone's truth is welcome here. We are in this together.
Let's dive into the episode.
Hello and welcome back. You're here with Holly and Brittany. Woo! We're together. I'm in Vancouver. And I'm excited to be back with you.
I'm excited that you're here.
Yes.
Wait, lipstick transferring again.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I keep getting lipstick on my teeth. I don't know what this is. I don't ever wear lipstick. So now I just constantly on my teeth.
Like all over.
I think I look good. And then it's just look in the video and just it everywhere.
You're good now. Yeah.
Maybe I should take this off. I'm trying to be cute.
I think the lipstick looks good, but it just kept transferring on the teeth.
I'm just going to wipe some of it off. Oh my gosh. Aww. Anyway, I'm here and it's beautiful today. Oh my gosh. It's not clear blue skies. There's some clouds, but sunny. It's so nice.
Beautiful
fall, crisp.
Clouds.
Yeah, it's so nice.
Yeah, it's the sun came out when she arrived yesterday. It's been so gloomy here in Vancouver. I mean, Rain City. They call Vancouver Rain City.
Really?
And it's just been rain day after day after day after day. And don't get me wrong, I like a good rainy day. I like to cozy up with a book, but it can get a little gloomy, depressing. Yeah.
Seasonal depression is definitely a real thing.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be tough if it's gloomy day after day.
It really is. It's a little, I love it here. It's partly why it's so beautiful here. They don't call it beautiful British Columbia for no reason. Mm-hmm. It is gorgeous and I love the land here. Genuinely, I really do. But it is hard this time of year because it really gets gloomy. So literally she arrived yesterday and the sun came out yesterday.
Yeah,
I was
beautiful. The mountains. It's just so beautiful here. It really is.
I just hope that it stays like this for at least, hopefully on Saturday it's like this, but I hope because it calls for rain the next few days, and I just hope that the rain can just kind of put a little pause for this little get together.
Yeah, I hope so too, because we went out for a walk earlier. It just feels crisp in the air. It's just so nice. We had coffee out on this little solarium is what you call it. I just love this space. Feels like a little safe haven. It's just so I love it so much.
It literally is. It's my safe haven. It's it's where I do my work. It's where I do my meditations. It's just my safe haven, my zen zone.
Yeah, just surrounded by nature. That everything. I don't know if you guys can see from the reflection in the back, but it's just pure windows, floor to ceiling windows, just pure nature. It's just such a beautiful vibe. I love it so much. I love being here.
Yeah, I'm so grateful, and I love having you here.
Yeah.
I'm yes, come, I need friends.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm excited for today's topic. So we're going to be diving into feeling like you are a constant project that you're working on, because I feel like it can be really easy in the healing space. We talk about healing a lot, the healing, the self-love journey, the spiritual journey is the self-love journey we both strongly feel. And I think it's really easy to get caught up in feeling like you are a constant project that you are working on, constantly trying to heal the next thing so you can be the best version of yourself. Yeah. And I think something that's really I want to talk about is I feel like we often say becoming the best version of yourself, but something I want to really harp on is yes, becoming the best version, but also becoming the most authentic version of yourself, which is the most imperfect version of yourself.
Yeah, I almost want to I kind of feel called to read that channeled angel message from the Healing Circle.
Yeah.
It's about, do you mind?
It's
just kind of coming to mind right now.
Yeah.
Let me see if I still can find it here really quickly.
Because I think it's really easy to get caught up in thinking oh, I want to be the best version of myself, which means I'm going to be perfect. I'm the most healed version of myself. But really the healing journey is about accepting your flaws, your doubts, your imperfections, embracing your imperfections. No one's perfect. And I think a lot of the time the human experience, we try to be perfect, but that's actually not what we're here to do. It's like taking those masks off of like trying to be perfect and embracing our imperfections, which that's what the healing journey brings you towards, is like your authenticity. So yeah, you read this.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Yeah.
So I don't know, I just feel called to read it. This was channeled specifically for a healing circle that Holly and I put on that was all about stepping into your authenticity. So I just want to preface that for a little bit of context. But regardless, I think that this is a beautiful message. Oh my God, 444 is when I typed it out. Ooh. Stop. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's like beautiful. An angel number. I love that. Confirmation. And it's 237. 37 is another confirmation number.
All the angel numbers.
They're all here. Okay. Dear beautiful souls, welcome to the sacred space, a place where we are invited to show up as we truly are, nothing more, nothing less. Each of us arrives tonight with our own stories, our own fears, and our own hopes. But we all share one thing in common, the deep desire to connect authentically, to be seen and heard for who we truly are. Authenticity is not always easy. In a world that often encourages us to wear masks, to present only the parts of ourselves that feel acceptable or worthy, it can feel vulnerable, maybe even uncomfortable to drop those layers and stand fully in our truth. We may fear judgment, rejection, or simply not being understood. But tonight, I invite you to leave those fears at the door. Or I should say, but today, whenever it is you are listening to this, I invite you to leave those fears at the door. Showing up authentically is not about perfection. It is not about having everything figured out or being completely confident. It's about showing up as you are, with your doubts, with your joys, with your wounds, and with your wisdom. When we show up authentically, we create space for others to do the same. We pave the way for deeper connection, for true healing, and for the kind of growth that only happens when we are fully ourselves. The beauty of authenticity is that it honors all parts of our being, the light and the shadow. And though it may be challenging, it is in these moments of vulnerability that we find our greatest strength, our truest essence. Together in this circle, or today in as community, we are committing to something profound, to stand in our truth, to release the masks we've been wearing, and to honor the courage it takes to be real. So tonight or today, whenever it is you are listening to this, I invite you to embrace your authentic self fully. Feel the freedom in being exactly who you are, without the need to hide or shrink. You are enough just as you are, and your presence on this earth is a gift to all of us. Now let us enter into a moment of prayer as we open the space to healing and transformation. And then I proceeded with a prayer. But yeah, that was the message.
And I think that's so profound because it's like coming back home to your wholeness, to your realness. And I think we can get really caught up in like, oh, I'm this project and I have to be perfect. But that's like quite literally the opposite of what this is about. It's like showing up with your fears, with your doubts. Like it's not healing because you get to be this all confident best version of yourself and like only accepting it when you get to that space. It's like, no, like the healing journey is about accepting it all, like accepting your doubts, accepting your fears, accepting the shame, the judgment, everything, and like just showing up as the real messy you.
Messy.
It's messy.
It is messy. And like something that I want to say for my fellow other single people out there, because I'm single and I've been on
the single ladies
and maybe the single men or however you identify, single people out there. You know, being on this healing journey, I know for me, it's like, okay, what am I doing wrong? Why have I not attracted in my partner yet? It must be something with me. I'm not fully healed. I have more work to do. And that's not true. You deserve love now. And with that said, everything happens for a reason. We are all here on our own journeys, but it can be really easy. And I know for me, I've done this being single. It's like, okay, what do I need to do next? How much more do I need to heal? This, And it's really not about that. And I just understand how we can put the blame on ourselves, you know?
Yeah.
And what I've really come to realize, it's like, no, I don't need to be fully healed to attract love in. this is simply my path. For whatever reason, my soul chose my path to be this is my path, and that's okay. And learning to love me through it, and not feeling like I need to, like I'm that constant project, like I'm not good enough.
Right. I think it's really realizing at any stage that you are in, you are worthy of love.
Yes.
Just as you are innately.
Yes.
You are worthy of love.
Period.
And I think, I just got chills.
Yeah.
So I think too, something with that, being single, but also
Yeah.
like being a business owner, like feeling like, oh, my business isn't being successful because I need to like do more. It's like this constant need to optimize to feel like, oh, if I do this, then my business will take off. You know what because, and I think we're in this stage of like biohacking, optimization, healing, like doing all of these things because we think that if we do enough, then we'll be worthy of love. Then we'll get the relationship. Then we'll have the success. Then we'll have, and it's like, it's not about any of those things. And I think it's really easy. And even for us having these conversations around this, because obviously we're in the healing, I'm in the holistic health healing space, spiritual space, and I think it's just important to have these conversations because I think it's really easy to get caught up in the I'll be good enough when I heal enough. And it's like I was just say it's honoring your journey for what it is in the here and the now. Right. Yes.
Regardless of, you know, what it looks like, whether you have the relationship or not, whether your business is where you want it to be or not. It's honoring your journey here and now in the present moment, because it's really easy to also, you know, okay, I need to heal because then I'll get what I want. And it's focusing on that future thing, whether it be love, business, or whatever it is. And it's again, honoring your journey. Honor your journey. There's something about honoring your journey. We all are on our own individual journey, and there's beauty in the imperfection. There's beauty in all of it, and honoring that here right now, I think is where most growth happens. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to better yourself. There's nothing wrong with wanting to heal, but I know I've done it before. It can be really easy to get caught up in that I need to do more, and again, it perpetuates that you know, feeling of unworthiness. I am not good enough. I need to do more. Et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. And I feel like too, it's like radical acceptance of where you are and trusting that you are exactly where you need to be, and not going out and trying to find the next thing that you need to heal, trusting it's going to find you when you are ready for it. And I think that's where it's not the constant project. It's the trust, surrender.
Yes. And it's also like you want to be at a place where when it comes to you, you are receptive of it, because healing is a forever journey. It's like peeling the layers of the onion. There will always be another layer. But like you said, it's not the needing to go searching for it. Just like you shouldn't be going to search for love. You shouldn't necessarily, and I'm not saying you shouldn't try to heal, but it's that,
like having those routines in place where you're taking care of yourself. But trusting that you go on. But I wanted to say the baseline of like, it's good to take care of yourself. We want to be taking care of your mental health always, like showing up for yourself each and every day, but not feeling like you are this constant project, like doing it from a healthy place of I'm doing these routines because it's what makes me feel good, and I love myself enough to show up for myself. And
when you have those routines too, when you're in this place of being reflective and being honest with yourself, that's when it'll come to you like, oh, like, you know, Holly and I, we talk all the time, we communicate all the time, and she'll say, you know, you'll say, oh, how have you been? What's been coming up for you? You know, where I'll be like, what's been coming up for you? And it comes to you. It's like, oh, I've been feeling triggered with body image, for example. It's like, okay, getting curious about that, honoring that, and there's some healing in that, but it's not, it's from that lens of being here in the now, having those routines, being reflective, and when it comes to you, sitting with it, getting curious about it, but knowing that that is a part of your journey here. It's a part of the forever journey here.
It's not a destination. There's no destination to get to. It's like, it's a daily, it's like, the triggers, like getting curious about your triggers and those day-to-days, and like if there's a reoccurring memory that keeps coming up, okay, that's kind of, I feel like your guide's showing you, okay, it's time to process this memory. It's coming up for a reason. Let's sit with it. Let's get curious. Let's journal about it. But like trusting everything's coming to you in divine timing. You don't need to go searching.
No, exactly. You don't need to go searching for it. And again, it's not like if you're wanting to heal and you're curious, it's not a bad thing to, start reflecting on your past and stuff like that. But you want to be mindful that you don't get caught up in that downward spiral. I think it stems from the feelings of unworthiness,
not feeling good enough.
Yeah,
like constantly feeling like, oh, I need to heal this to be good enough.
Yeah,
and really getting caught up in that. And it's exactly what Brittany was saying. It's good to be proactive. Like go to therapy, go to somatic healing, get a coach, get a someone who can really support you in that sort of way. It's a beautiful thing to get support and be like working on yourself to be a more healed, less triggered version of yourself out into the world. But not like having it be obsessive and like, okay, what's the next thing? Like I need to do a plant medicine journey to get to the next thing to like, get to the next level. You know what I'm saying?
No, absolutely. And it's, 100%. And it's easy to get wrapped up into that. And I've heard a lot of people actually talk about this. And I feel like when people are in that space, because they want to do good, it's almost like a blinder.
Right. It's unintentional.
It's unintentional.
Absolutely. I've gotten caught up in it.
Oh, absolutely. Me too.
Like I think anyone that's in the healing space, it's like, okay, you kind of like are starting to like go on these awakenings and you're like seeing your wounds and like, whoa, how can I heal this? And it can kind of like get overwhelming though when you do that. And it's like thinking that's like the constant project.
Yeah, and I think it really goes back to staying rooted and grounded because we're here to experience all of it, right? We're here to experience this reality as humans. And if you get caught, it's like anything in life, right? You want to maintain balance. If something's out of balance, then the rest of your life is going to be affected by that. And remaining rooted and grounded and human, I think will help manage that. Something else was coming to mind and it's slipping my mind though. It's slipping my mind.
Maybe it'll come back.
Yeah.
If it's supposed to.
Yeah.
But something I want to talk about too is like, this saying, it's not selfish to put yourself first. It's selfless, because it is. It's selfless to put yourself first, like, so you can show up as a better person in the world. And like be grounded and like centered in who you are, so then you can go out and be your cup is full, so then you can be coming from a more grounded place and showing up for the people in your life in a more grounded, better way. But also when it comes to like working on yourself and feeling like you're a constant project, it's a slippery slope of actually becoming selfish, like of actually focusing so much of your time and energy on yourself that it does become selfish. It's like with anything, there needs to be balance. And like, I'm really understanding that there is a part where if you are on your healing self-love journey, there is a time where you do really need to focus on yourself.
Absolutely.
You really do. But the only reason you are doing this is first for yourself, but also to be the light in community. You're doing it for your family, for your friends, for community, to contribute to community in a greater way. And I'm really understanding that now. Like I'm realizing like a lot of my journey, I feel like that's going to be coming up is out in community. Like I've focused on myself and it's a forever journey, but it's like, okay, now take everything that you learn, harness that and go be out in community, because it can get selfish if we just continue to focus on ourselves.
And it is important to focus on yourself though, because, and this is where a lot of people also feel the call to like help other people. And there's nothing wrong with that. We are meant to help each other because we all have our own unique abilities and gifts. And when we share them with each other, we help each other on our journeys, but without focusing on you first, it can come from a wounded place,
right? Yes.
Which can perpetuate more harm,
right? Yes.
So it's that balancing act. It is important, it is selfless to focus on you first, so that you then can help other people in a heart-centered place and actually help, as opposed to project more wounds.
Yes, absolutely. So that's where it feels like on the beginning and like really focusing on yourself, like it is necessary to go inward, to focus on yourself. And that is where it's like people may think that you're selfish, but it's like really needing to create those boundaries for yourself, because there is a lot of rewiring and healing that comes, but it's like, not all, it will come in divine timing as well. But I feel like it's like again, focusing on yourself. And then once you've kind of like gotten a bit to the other side where you feel regulated, then being able to go out and again, like heal those wounds, heal those money wounds, especially if you want to be a coach or a healer of any sort. There's so many subconscious money wounds that come from that space of like not feeling good enough and like placing your self-worth on how well your business does or whatever it may be, and needing to get like really clear on those young wounds. But so you can like have a career that's in a healthy place if you feel called to do that. And I think too, it's like you are also always your first client. I think sometimes with empaths, it's like, oh, I want to give. You have to really, I feel, learn how to rewire that and give to yourself first. Go through the journey first yourself in a healthy, real way. So then you can serve.
And something else that's coming to mind, people need you as you are. People need you as you are. Going back to the channeled message with your imperfections, because it is important to work on yourself first. However, you do not need to be fully healed. That is impossible.
And that's the need to be perfect and present perfect. And that's not real or authentic.
No. And so it's like this balancing act, and it can be tricky because it can be tricky to kind of get caught up in either way, like going out to help maybe like too soon without being your own first client first, or, you know, focusing on yourself and then getting wrapped up in, I need to be better. I need to be perfect.
I need another certification. I need and get it. I feel like a lot of coaches too, and like people on this path feel like, oh, I need to get another certification and then I'll feel good enough to like put it out in the world. So it's like really being honest with yourself in whatever way that it's flowing for you.
And it's also trusting that if you do feel called to help, trust that you will reach those you are meant to, because I think a lot of people put so much pressure on their business, or they put pressure. It could even be subconscious, like, okay, I'm going to put it out, and you feel like you need to get X amount of clients, or your business needs to do, you know, make this much money. And you can get discouraged if you are not maybe seeing the results you're hoping to see. And it doesn't mean you're on the wrong path. It doesn't mean you shouldn't be helping. It's trusting the timing of it, taking the pressure off, trust that the right people will come to you in the right time, even if it's fewer people than you initially thought it would have been when you start, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And maybe if there's something like, maybe there is something a bit off if you're not receiving things, if you're not like, maybe a deeper need to like go focus inward a bit, you know?
Like slow, it's like slow and steady. Like when you really start anything, you want to make sure the universe won't give you more than what you can handle. And if they do, they do that on purpose so that it crumbles, so that you learn whatever it is that you need to learn through it. But trust that by putting something out there, it's like if it's aligned, if it's in alignment, if it's in the heart space, you will get those, I don't even know what the word is, people or whatever it is, that business, whatever it is that you want to call it. Just I feel like taking the pressure off, and that goes back to people, you know, the self-worth thing, like. Yeah. And something I want to say too is like people love when people are vulnerable and authentic. Like what Brittany was saying, we need the real you, because the people that I look up to the most are the ones that show that they're not perfect, that are like, hey, I'm struggling with this, or being vulnerable, like I'm not perfect, you know, whatever it may be. Like Dr. Gabor Mate is really coming to mind. I have so much respect for him. I don't have him on a pedestal. I have so much admiration and respect. And I just watched a podcast interview with him, and he goes into like addiction that he used to struggle with around like, just, it's kind of funny. He like would buy a lot of like records, but it was like, it became like an addiction for him. But he's very open about, you know, he struggled to show up for his kids because he was so dedicated to his work and his marriage. And like, he doesn't claim to be perfect. He has a lot of wisdom, a lot of knowledge, but like, he's the first one to admit that he's not perfect. And I think that's something so powerful, is like not thinking again that you're this constant project, and when you're perfect, that's when you put yourself out there. It's like, no, embracing your imperfections, like making yourself
be seen for who you truly are in your messiness, because I feel like we put so many masks on, and it's like when you take your mask off and are like, hey, I'm struggling with this, or like, you know, my marriage is crumbling, or my relationship doesn't feel like we have a lot of chemistry, or my friendships are struggling, or I'm in my career, like being honest with what you're going through, you give another person permission to take their mask off and show their imperfections, because it's like this constant need to feel like,
because there's always going to be something. There's always going to be something that you can quote unquote like fix about yourself, you know, because we're not perfect. We're not supposed to be. We're that saying, we're perfectly imperfect. I'm perfect. You are perfect as you are.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And something I want to say too is like, when I say like going out in community, like you're doing this for you, I don't even mean like necessarily for your work. Like you are also meant to be the light. Like there are so many people struggling, like homelessness, addiction, like there's so many causes to get involved in that don't incorporate you like getting paid or it being your work. It's like volunteer work. We need like volunteers, like you do this work to be the light in community with people that are struggling.
Yeah. And what was coming to mind, like for me personally, like I'll give a personal example, like in my family, spending more time with my family, with my siblings, with my parents, just showing up as Brittany authentically with my family. That's in community. It's in a different way. And I'm not saying I'm not involved in community in other ways, but it's showing up as you are with your normal 9-to-5 job, with your family, instead of, because I know like for me, when you're on the healing journey, and I do think that this is part of the journey and there's nothing wrong with this, where you kind of isolate a little bit. And
I feel like it's necessary, because you do have to kind of like really focus your energy in on yourself. You really do at some points. That's
where though, and I agree with that, I've been there and it is necessary. I also understand how people can get stuck in that though and not want to come out,
right?
You know, and it's like your family needs you, your friends need you, your community needs you as you are.
Because you do that healing again, like so you can show up more authentically, so you give other people permission to show up authentically. Like we need more of that in the world, you know?
Because it's not easy. Like being authentic, I think we said this either in the last episode or maybe it was this one, is an act of rebellion. Being authentic is an act of rebellion. The world needs change, and it's going to change through you and I, and together. It's not, oh, I'm going to go change the world, it's going to change together in community. Focus on yourself first, and then you don't need to be perfectly perfect, or you don't need to be perfect, you're not supposed to be perfect, but when you get yourself to a regulated place,
it's like getting your nervous system regulated, which comes with like a lot of needing to feel and release and understand and process these deep young wounds. It's like, but again, you don't have to be fully healed to like get out in community, like support people along, like, you know, get out. But I feel like there is something around like showing up imperfectly also. Yeah,
I agree. And I think that even online and stuff like that, we are seeing a shift. Like I think we are seeing a shift, and you know what's coming to mind is, you know, and I'm not even into this stuff, like honestly, like I don't care, but I'm noticing it because I'm, you know, I am aware of what's going on in the world, you know, like Hollywood, what's her name, I forget her name, the husband of the guy who was a lead in Barbie. I'm so bad with celebrities, she's so famous. Gossip Girl, what's her name? Blake Lively. Sorry. And I'm not, see, like I'm so bad. I get
Blake Lively
and Ryan Reynolds. I'm not trying to talk ill about her or anything like that, but I'm just going to use her as an example. All of that stuff that's come out about her recently, about, you know, the negative interviews, and she's kind of like, she's got like a light on her right now in not really a good way, but a lot of these masks are coming to light, you know. It's like we're starting to see clearer, we're starting to see people for who they really are in a way,
and the illusions are crumbling.
So I'm seeing that shift just like on social media, in the world in general. Like the illusions are crumbling, the masks are coming off. So it's like, hey, the mask is going to come off one way or another. You might as well be the one to take that mask off.
And I think sometimes we're not even aware of the masks that we're wearing.
Absolutely.
And I feel like that's a part of, you know, the healing journey, because the healing journey, the self-love journey is so important, and it really does give you back your connection to yourself, your authenticity, but it does, there's layers to it, and it's like there's layers to it, but I do believe that illusions are really crumbling. Things are being seen for what they are. The dark is being brought to light because things need to change, you know, and we do need people going on the self-love healing journey. Like, I'm not trying to say like not going on that journey at all and that it's selfish, because it's not selfish. It's actually the most selfless thing that you can do, because you're healing for yourself and also for like the generations to come, the generations that came before you. It's deep, important, powerful work. But it's like that fine line between not letting it get obsessive of like constantly needing the next thing to work on. And something I want to talk about too is like, I know there's a lot of comments of like, if you do put yourself first, like it is selfish. But another thing that I want to touch on is like, you also can't give what you do not have. So I feel like it is important to put yourself first, to have routines, to take care of yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, so you can show up for the people in your life in a greater way. And like, when you do learn to love yourself, think about the deeper you're going to be able to love other people. When you have non-judgment for yourself, think about how you'll be able to have non-judgment for others. When you trust yourself, then you can be able to trust others. It's like such a ripple. It's a positive ripple. But it's like just that fine line, that right balance between doing this deep inner work. Because we had another podcast episode about doing the inner work and the importance of it. And then I think it's like finding that, not swinging too far into just doing all of that and coming back. I'm seeing like a pendulum. What are those? Pendulum.
Excuse me. I'm just like, my mind is just like gone today. What I was going to say something else, but I'm really just like losing it. But I think that the main point, what we're trying to say is, yes, healing is so important. It's crucial, and it is selfless, because you are healing for everyone. You're healing for your ancestors and everything. But it is also so important to pull out of that and come back. I want to say like, come back to the world, because the world needs you. The world needs you. And if you stay in that isolated, just being a project trying to like fix, you're not using
it's
your
almost
gifts.
Getting caught up in your wounds again.
It is.
It's like you're perpetuating your wounds of that need to be perfect.
It is.
It's like, I'm safe. I'm exactly where I need to be. I'm going to trust that the next thing that needs to come will come in divine timing. And it's like, talking to your inner child, even that is healing, to stop feeling like you are that project that needs to be fixed.
And it happens through your human experiences. If you lock yourself up, only focus on you. I mean, it's
so much growth happens like, from your relationships.
From the experiences, which is what we were saying before. It will come to you. The opportunities will come to you. Yes, it might come through a memory, through this, but it will also happen through your human experiences. You can't be locked up in a room to experience. I mean, for a part of the journey, I understand that it's necessary, but you do need to come out to continue that growth, because really, if you get trapped in that cycle, like you said, it's just perpetuating those wounds. You're remaining stagnant.
Because there was a part where I was doing some deep inner child healing too, and like there was a time where I was like isolating a lot, and I was realizing, oh, this is where I feel safe. This is where I'm safe. The real world is where the real
scary
tests kind of like things come of like, ooh, can I show up authentically with these other people? Like, it's safe for me to be alone. That's where I'm safe. The real work happens out in the world, like you're saying, like, and even like the deepest healing and growth for me specifically has been in having like really trusting myself in my relationships and having to have really uncomfortable conversations. And it's like, that couldn't have happened by myself. Like, I can't do that for me. Like, just me having these conversations. It's through the people in our lives. And I truly believe all the people in our lives come in for like a season, a reason, a lesson, whatever it may be. A gift. And it's like, there's so much growth that happens in your relationships when you're navigating hard conversations, when you're feeling triggered, when you're unable, when you're scared to speak your truth to someone else, when you have to set a boundary. It's like, that's where a lot of the growth comes in.
It's what provides you the opportunity to implement the wisdom you've gained through the healing. Because you can heal and you can learn all of these things about yourself, but until you immerse yourself back into the world, you're not going to be given the opportunity to apply that knowledge. That's the true test right there, is the application of the knowledge and really showing up as this newer version of you, this and Blue Jay, it's through the experiences. it's combined. It's like you need both. It's a combination of the two. Oh, there's two.
Yes. Yeah. And I feel like even if you're in some sort of therapy, also like with plant medicine, I know that Brittany and I have talked a lot about plant medicine as well. And like, we're going to do an episode on that. We're going to like really balance that out. But I feel like the real tests after like therapy and plant medicine comes in the real world of how you implement what you felt during those ceremonies or what you worked through in therapy.
Yeah.
How can you show up as this more regulated version of yourself?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And
because it's one thing to have the knowledge, and it's a whole other thing to apply that knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's like, that's where it's like, not putting so much emphasis on what more do I need to do for me. It's like, trust that like the right opportunities are also going to come in your life for you to implement that knowledge. Yeah. It's like, you don't have to, your guides have it all planned out for you. Like it has been planned out. Yeah. We don't get to know, we get to surrender and trust. And that's really hard because as humans, we love control. We love control, but that's a part of the healing journey. Yeah. Balancing the masculine and the feminine. The feminine is all about surrender and trust. Yeah. And the masculine is like getting things done and, implementing, but it's like really getting to this place of surrender and trust and releasing that need for control.
Yeah. And it's not easy.
And no, not
and
at all.
And it's a journey.
Absolutely.
Looking to connect with like-minded community on your journey of self-growth, self-love, and spiritual discovery? Join the Beehive, a supportive community hosted by Holly and I, designed to help you on your personal transformation and healing journey, and to help you tap into your innate wisdom with live monthly Q&A sessions, exclusive content, and a like-minded community. The Beehive is the perfect space to grow and step into your most authentic self. For more information and to sign up, check the link in the show notes. But yeah, it's like having compassion for yourself.
Absolutely.
And I think that if you're on the healing journey, just questioning like, okay, where am I? Like, have I been doing this?
Been honest.
Yeah.
Too.
Like, have I been kind of maybe preventing myself from, going out into the world? Or am I at a space where it should be more internal right now?
Yeah, because I think it can swing both ways.
Yeah, and it could go back and forth too. Like, I know for me, there's seasons where I'm like, okay, I just like need some time with myself. And then a month later, I'm like out more, and then it swings back. And it's just, again, it goes back to being regulated, being honest with yourself so that you really can tune into what genuinely is best for you, and to really ensure that you are not operating from wounds, because when you're operating from wounds, like the example you gave, you felt safe really being just kind of more isolated and with yourself. And while that is
real healing was when I was witnessed in community. That was actually the real healing for me.
Interesting.
Was when I was witnessed in community, being vulnerable, being the real Holly.
Yeah.
That was so much part of my healing.
Because a part of it is the awareness and parenting yourself, then stepping out and being witnessed. Yeah. It like takes it to another level.
Yeah. And being loved for who I truly am.
Yeah. I love you for who you are.
I love you for who you are. And that's why we attracted each other too, because we were authentic and we're like bringing in like who we really are. Yeah. But it's like first going out in community and being who you really are so you can attract in the right people. Yeah. Wow. That I'm like really realizing so much of my healing came from being witnessed in my pain in community.
I have chills. Yeah. And like what's coming to mind for me was that rage ceremony in Costa Rica. I was witnessed with a group of people, and a lot of my healing was being witnessed, even with like what, things that we've been through, other experiences that I've had. Yeah, because it's kind of like bringing it to your awareness. It's important to allow that younger part of you to come out. So like parenting yourself, to allow yourself to feel and release, maybe like, on your own, but sometimes in community too. And then it's giving that younger part of you the permission to be you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's the layers.
Absolutely. Because like, I think something that I had to do on my own was a lot of inner child, inner teenage healing to like get clear of my wounds. But then like each time I spoke in community, I was healing that younger part of me.
By actually
being
allowing
myself.
yourself to be
being
yourself.
Witnessed and like people watching and honoring me.
Yeah, see, because the universe gave you the opportunity because like you could have chose not to be yourself still.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even if you were aware of it because of the inner work you've done, the awareness is not enough. It's then being like, okay, I'm now going to use this experience, show up as the real me, and that's healing right there.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes. And something I feel called to talk about is a lot of the group shares was actually like after plant medicine ceremonies.
Yeah, the integration.
Because what I love about plant medicine and like the sacred facilitated plant medicine, where it's like people are trained and they're in integrity with this work, it's like there's such a safe container and the plants really open you up to be your authentic self. So it's this beautiful melting of people showing up authentically, the real raw them, and us holding each other through those, like really holding space with no judgment, because your heart cracks open. You're seeing your wounds on a deeper level, deeper understanding. And it's been like this beautiful, just like there's been so much healing and just sharing in those sacred, safe circles, because they've been safe containers. You know, going out in the world is another thing, because it's kind of like you don't know what you're going to get with some people, because there's a lot of dysregulation out there. But in these sacred, safe containers, it's like everyone feels safe to like crack open and be who they are. So much healing has come from that.
Oh, I have chills. Yeah. And it's so important. And just the emphasis on safe containers with facilitators who have been trained, who are in integrity. Yeah.
And that's why I love our healing circles. Like genuinely, I'm not trying to plug our healing circles, but like it's safe. It's a safe container. The women and men that share at the end, like it's safe. And it's like, whoa, they're really like cracking open and being witnessed. There's something about being witnessed. Like we're not meant to do this alone.
And they always amaze me too, just like listening to people in our circles like talk at the end. I'm like, I learn from so much of them.
Oh my gosh, so much wisdom.
Like the wisdom they have to share, and just like, it's such an honor to witness that.
And to create something like that. Yeah, because that's it. Healing happens in community.
It does. Yeah.
Healing happens in community. And I think it's so often we can get really tied up in like needing to just focus on ourselves. And again, it's like that right balance. There is the time that we have to go inward. You have to get aware of your wounds. You have to do that inner healing work. I really feel taking it to the next level is being witnessed and healing in community and showing up as the real, authentic, messy you.
That's the next. And it's almost like the most important. I feel like, I don't know, I don't want to say most important. All pieces are important, but it's like the most impactful. It's like the real integration.
Yeah, the integration of it all.
It's like it like when it comes and merges together, and that's when the true transformation can happen.
Yeah.
But you have to be willing to get yourself there, to get yourself there.
Be courageous and be vulnerable, because it's really uncomfortable to be vulnerable.
It is.
And to be witnessed in your vulnerability is like a whole new level. But then you'll realize that, oh my gosh, there's so many other people that are going through and feel the same way. And it makes other people feel seen. And like you're feeling seen. You know?
Yeah. Like you're not alone. You're really not alone. I think a lot of people too think that they're alone in their pain. But you're really not.
We're interrupting this episode to share something close to our hearts, our virtual healing circles. We have been loving them so much and meeting so many of you incredible people through them. Brittany and I are passionate about bringing people together to support one another and heal in community. We felt alone on our paths for so long, and coming together in community has been instrumental to our growth, and we've both seen the importance in it. We aren't meant to do this alone. In unity and vulnerability, we find strength, courage, and support each other on our paths back to ourselves. Our monthly virtual seminars blend discussions, workshops, and practices to nurture your mind, body, and spirit. Whether seeking guidance, healing, or a listening ear, our gatherings offer a safe, inclusive space for people to connect, heal, and grow. Join us on this journey of healing in community. Together we can heal, grow, and thrive. Register for the next circle using the link in the show notes. We hope to see you there. Yeah, I think that's the best thing that you can do is like also be vulnerable in community with what you're really going through. So like, again, you're doing this for yourself, but like you're doing it for community, to contribute to community in a greater way.
Absolutely.
And just being the real you.
Leading by example. Lead by example.
And just by you being you, that's healing. You don't need to like look at the thinking of yourself as like, I need to continue working. Like you just being you is that's the work almost.
Yeah. And it's an act of rebellion to be authentic. It's to be you. It's what the world needs for true change.
Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah.
Yeah. And something that I had this conversation with this man who I feel like a lot of men are really doing the work. My husband's doing the work and I'm so freaking proud of him. And he's a part of a men's group. And I had a conversation with another man who like leads male retreats. And he was saying, you know, yeah, I do this for me. And I need to get really clear on the masks that I wore in the world. Like so many, I feel like all of us wear masks, but I think like, yeah, just needing to get really clear on the masks that you wear in the world. And he's like, but I do this for my wife, for my kids, for my work, it's like you're doing it so much more than just for you.
It's so that you can show up authentically.
Yes. And be that version of you that's like able to stay grounded,
centered. It's like awareness is not enough. Like the isolation, the inner child, like I don't want to say inner child, but all of that inner work, a lot of it is just so that you can become aware of those wounds. But the awareness is not enough. It's how you show up at the end of the day. In community, out in the world, feet on the ground, boots on the ground.
I've been getting that analogy for so long. It's time for like boots on the ground, like implement like we do it, we learn, because it needs to be boots on the ground in community. All of us being out in community, shining our lights, making positive change, because the world needs it right now more than ever. And change is on its way. It's happening, but it starts with us having the courage to step out and be in community authentically.
Yeah, because it's easy to hide. It's easy to hide from your own wounds, not wanting to do that inner work first. It's also easy to hide when you are doing that inner work, not wanting to come back out. Yeah, it's easy to hide. And like you said before, it's like operating from wounds, ego wanting you to hide.
Oh my gosh. And I also kind of feel like what's coming to mind is like feeling like you're a constant project is also self-sabotage.
Absolutely.
It's not allowing you to get out.
No, it's
like
the ego wanting you to hide.
I'll be good enough. Yeah. What you just said, that really like sparked. It's like, that's another form of like thinking like, oh, I have to do this and then I'll be good enough to get out there. It's like showing up messy.
That it stems from the not feeling worthy, not feeling good enough.
Yeah. And not feeling worthy and good enough is like a collective wound.
Absolutely.
You know, that like, that's a part of like one of the biggest lessons that I feel we came here to learn is our worthiness, our innate worthiness.
As we are, you are worthy just because you're here.
Just because you are you. Like that's enough. You actually don't have to do anything to be worthy or lovable. You just being you, that's enough. Like,
authentically you.
Yes.
Yeah. Period.
Yes.
Yeah. You are worthy of love. Period. As you are. Again, going back to what I said at the beginning, my single ladies, my single men, whoever you are worthy because you're here. Period.
Yeah. And something my mom loves to say, which I love my mom so much. She listens to these too. So shout out Shriz. But she's very like spiritual and very into God, to source, whatever you believe in. And it's like, you are so special because you are God's creation, source's creation, whoever you believe in, you were created and brought down. Like God loves you so much. Source, universe loves you so much. Like you are so special.
God created nature. Look at nature. Nature is perfect. Nature has been created perfectly in all of its imperfections and all of it. And it's what I mean by imperfections, for example, you know, we look at nature and we see animals hunting other animals. It could seem gruesome, it can seem this, it can be that, but all of it is perfect. God, source, whatever, created nature. We are nature. We literally are made up of the same molecules, I think, or something like that. God created us too. You are perfect.
Just the way, perfectly imperfect.
Yes, as you are.
Perfectly imperfect. And like, you are worthy of love just as you are.
Yeah, period.
Coming from that, like, you know what I mean? You already are so loved. You're a manifestation of unconditional love.
Yes, you are a manifestation of unconditional love. Yes. Literally, yes.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, if you're just feeling like you're a constant project that you need to be working on, if you're constantly like, I need to heal more, I need to heal more, I need to heal more, take a pause, like acknowledge how far you've come, show yourself so much compassion and grace. And something we said in the last episode, you cannot hate or shame your way to change. It has to be done through the lens of like unconditional love, understanding, non-judgment for yourself, for it to be healthy. So like honor your journey, trust that you're exactly where you need to be, and the next thing will come when it's supposed to, and most likely it's going to come out when you're like out in community, connecting with other people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Aww. I just really want to say to those listening, like, I love you as you are. We need you as you are. Like, the world needs you.
In your messiness.
With
your fears, with your doubts.
Yes. With your wisdom. Because you can have fears, doubts, and you can also have wisdom as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Me showing up in this podcast, I had so much fear, but I'm like, I'm going to show up messy anyway, you know? It's like showing up anyway.
Yeah.
Showing up anyway.
Yeah.
And you'll find your courage through that.
Yeah.
And you'll see that you're loved for who you are.
Yeah. Like, it's not like you're going to wake up tomorrow and all of a sudden, like, it's going to switch and like the fears are gone. It doesn't work that way. You have to work through them.
Yeah. Something that I think Mel Robbins said is self-confidence comes from the willingness to try. It's not something that's built overnight. It's not something you innately have. It's showing up and having the confidence to try again and again and again. It's something that's created. So the more you show up authentically, the more you put yourself out there, your confidence is going to build and build and build.
Yeah. Like, you're not just going to wake up tomorrow with those fears gone.
Right.
With the confidence there. You have to work through it for it.
Yes.
And you will.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, yes. I love this conversation. Yeah. Let us know how you feel. If we missed anything, if you resonate with what we say, you are obviously allowed to disagree. We would love to hear from you. This is just, I just feel that this is a really important conversation to have, because I think that, like, in the Beehive, someone commented on that, and I commented on how, like, kind of feeling like a constant project, and like but like, what's the balance of like giving back to community? And I was like, this is a really important topic that I feel like we need to talk about. So let us know your thoughts.
And thank you so much for tuning in.
Yes. And with that, we'll talk to you next Wednesday.
Bye.
As we wrap up today's episode, we want to extend our deepest gratitude for joining us on this journey. Your support does not go unnoticed. If you enjoyed this episode and find value in our conversations, please take a moment to leave a review. Your feedback not only helps us grow, but also allows us to reach more people who can benefit from our community of healing and support. Every review, every rating makes a difference. Thank you for being a part of the Multiple Truths Podcast family. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Multiple Truths Podcast. Keep speaking your truth and spreading your light. We love you, and we'll talk to you next Wednesday.